Teisha Bader with Shalom TV's News Update. In our Election 2012 report today, the issue of Israel continues to be a major focus of controversy. As you may have seen on IBA News, the Democratic Party amended its platform Wednesday at the behest of President Obama to include language on Jerusalem that had been a part of the 2008 platform but had been omitted from the 2012 platform, namely that Jerusalem is and will remain the capital of Israel, and that the parties have agreed that Jerusalem is a matter for final status negotiations and it should remain an undivided city accessible to people of all faiths. The Democratic Party explained their initial omission of the Jerusalem language by saying that they chose in the 2012 platform to focus on President Obama's, quote, unprecedented record of support for Israel. But amidst the firestorm that was created by the omission, President Obama intervened to have the language on Jerusalem restored, though not without some opposition. The resolution was met with a large chorus of boos, so that reports state that the Jerusalem plank was forced on the convention.
All those delegates in favor say aye. All those delegates opposed say no. In the opinion of the chair, 2/3 have voted in the affirmative. The motion is adopted, and the platform has been amended as shown on the screen. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Although the Jerusalem language was restored to the platform, 3 other major points that had been in the 2008 platform were not restored, namely that Hamas should be isolated until it renounces terror and recognizes Israel's right to exist, that Israel should not be required to return to the 1949 armistice lines, and that the Palestinian right of return refers to the new Palestinian state and not to Israel. Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz has observed that the Democratic Party platform controversy has now made support for Israel a political issue of 2012, which he says is a detriment for Israel. In an interview with the Daily Caller, Dershowitz said, "I don't think it is a good thing that the Republican platform seems to be more pro-Israel than the Democratic platform. It's not the Democratic base, it's extremists within the Democratic base who may have more influence than they should on the platform," Dershowitz said. "I think extremists within the base may very well move the Democratic Party away from its pro-Israel position." Dershowitz also said that this is not the last the Democratic Party has heard about the platform, as he is personally going to get to the bottom of what happened. In terms of Israel and the Republican platform, the National Jewish Democratic Council's president and CEO David Harris charges the GOP with hypocrisy, pointing out that their 2012 platform has also been changed, citing that the 2008 GOP platform included a line about supporting the moving of the American embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, Israel's, quote, undivided capital. In this year's GOP platform, that language is gone. And in our last political story, Israeli Ambassador Michael Oren responded to DNC Chairwoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz rejecting her characterization at the DNC, in which she said that she heard Ambassador Oren say that what the Republicans are doing is, quote, dangerous for Israel. The ambassador's statement reads, "I categorically deny that I ever characterize Republican policies as harmful to Israel," further saying bipartisan support is a paramount national interest for Israel, and we have great friends on both sides of the aisle. And in other news, the JTA reports that approximately 50 high-ranking federal and state law enforcement officials met with an equal number of leading American Jewish officials Wednesday for a threat response drill. The Joint Department of Homeland Security American Jewish Community tabletop exercise was held at an unnamed location in Virginia and was designed to identify gaps in information sharing, to share best practices, and to push security concerns throughout the American Jewish community. Paul Goldenberg, National Director of the Jewish Federations of North America's Secure Community Network, told the JTA that this drill was not just another briefing, saying this milestone event was to have the highest level national leaders together in a room for 5 hours with senior Jewish leaders, so we know going out of that room what we need to know and what to do to go forward. The program included simulated potential threats and responses to Jewish and Israeli targets. Secretary of Homeland Security Janet Napolitano, who participated in the exercise, said in a statement, "Our partnership with organizations and leaders of faith communities has helped and continues to help communities across the country prepare for threats that may originate either within our borders or abroad." And finally, today, the mayor of Lublin, Poland, introduced a resolution that would prevent a commercial crematory from being constructed adjacent to the Nazi death camp of Majdanek. Mayor Krzysztof Zuk's resolution, which he offered at his city's council meeting Thursday, would make the area around Majdanek a special protected zone, prohibiting any unwanted development there. As we reported on Shalom TV last week, the Polish funeral company Stykes has plans to build a commercial crematory near the death camp. The Anti-Defamation League had raised concerns over the insensitive nature of the plans last week and the pain and insults such a project would cause. More than 75,000 people were murdered at Majdanek during the Holocaust. The bodies of the dead were destroyed in an on-site crematorium which still stands. Majdanek is now a state Holocaust memorial and museum that hosts thousands of visitors annually. And that's Shalom TV's news update. I'm Teisha Bader.